Yeah.
Sorry, and you might have already covered this, and I apologize for being late. It's, we moved here about 18 months ago and found that, there seems to be about a 10 to 15% penalty on housing prices being higher than where we've been the last 15 years or so in Ohio and Kansas. And so is that what you have found as well as part of that affordability? And
Yeah.
that, I guess that resort town, whatever you call it, I mean, a designation probably has something to do with that.
Right, so-
Actually, Moscow doesn't have the status.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
We
Okay.
just have the quality that you found, high house prices. But we don't have the status. Here are the 5 resorts in Moscow, or
Okay.
in Idaho.
You know, to kind of address what you're saying, this is actually one of the reasons that Carly and I are business partners. We had talked to Nancy about trying to see about the city of Moscow setting its own minimum wage, because we really are an island in the city unto ourselves
To the state.
in the state, but we have a legislature that's very opposed to any kind of self-governance
Okay.
like that. And part of the reason for that is that, you know, it is more expensive to live in Moscow. We have that issue, we're faced with that all the time, you know, because this area, I mean, we're kind of economically secluded. It's not like somebody can just go and get a job in Spokane. We do thankfully have Washington right next door, which maybe helps prop up wages, but I mean, this is one of the problems that we have over here, is that we can't raise the minimum wage in order to be able to have people afford to live in the expensive rental and housing market that we have.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
I was just thinking about Lewiston with their water and all, and yet their housing prices, from everything I can gather, they're always lower than Moscow. Is that correct, you know?
When I see this data,
Yeah.
Nez Perce County is definitely better. Yeah, it's a different character community down there in terms of, college is very small,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of industrial employers.
Nils, have you guys approached anything, you know, like you were saying, using common wall, like trying to buy a lot? Because I know we have a public transportation system here that's free, right?
The buses for.
Yeah, the bus system. I mean, have you guys explored trying to create economies of scale where you buy multiple, you know, create like, you know, 10, 15 houses or something? Like the little chalets that they have behind, I don't know what they're called.
Pinecone cottages.
Yeah.
So we have a purchase option signed to purchase 12 lots, to purchase a parcel and divide it into 12 lots.
Where?
Over on Sunnyside Avenue. Laytock Care Center is now Gritman
Yeah, okay,
Health.
yes.
Go towards the Arboretum a little ways,
Martin's,
look up the hill.
okay.
Sunnyside starts there and then ends. There's a Prospect Place, PUD, very closely spaced houses, kind of retirement community, at least that was the original idea. Then there's a gap in the road, and then you come at Sunnyside from Victoria and whatnot, above. So it's in that gap. Trying to pursue that. And yes, there are some economies of scale, and some, so found a house to rehab, couldn't find more. Found a small lot to buy inexpensively, can't find more. Became a land developer. Not that I wanted to, but that I was driven up the scale in order to find a way to access land and be able to control the parcel size and the price by buying it in bulk, if you will. So that's what we're trying to put together. And the goal would be to get funding for 4 houses this year. This would be home funding, and build a townhouse, a block of 4. And got contingent approval and you know how it goes. And of course, everybody in Boise is unsure what's going on in DC, and so is that money really there? And how fast can I actually get to claim it? Well, I can't until I get across a couple more hurdles, and so that's what we're trying.
Don't spend the money till the check clears.
And who's financing to buy this property? Where is the money coming from to buy the property?
So the money is, the initial money is coming from the housing trust. Then we would flip the 4 lots to the home money. And they pay, we get 2 kinds of revenue streams. There's a grant that annually we renew, right to renew, that pays our basic core operations. My salary, my office is out there at the Martin Wellness Center, so at 0 cost, and you know, in other words, piece it together on the operations side. And then we get paid a developer's fee on top of the sale price. So the sale, this project that we just sold, we're getting a fee on top of that, which, once we take out various costs, amounts to about 9%. So, and we get half of that up front and half of that at the back end. So the notion is that we're buying this land with some of our money and some of the developer fee that we get to start the first 4 houses with, and that then we end up owning all the lots in our name, but 4 of them are liened by the home money. We sell those, we turn around and start the cycle over again.
So you have to put in the roads and the lighting and the curbs?
Yep. That's what you get for being a land developer.
Nils, could you speak a bit about the constituency of the housing trust? Who are the members or what organizations do they represent?
Sure.
I think, you know, when we speak about
I'll start,
and
these are
nonprofit
my
status.
card, in case you want to help me out by connecting me to employers. And on the back is a cheat sheet that I wanted. So Carl Johnson is our board president. Carl is at Lewis Properties. Bob Rees, he's at Ag Extension at WSU, I believe. Teresa Heitman is our secretary treasurer, and she is an architect at Schweitzer, based out of Pullman, but ends up running around quite a bit. Steve Bonner is at the Sojourners Alliance. And I should say something about several of these names you'll recognize, and several of them you probably will. The bottom one is John Weber, city council member. Being a CHOTA, we are required to have a minimum of 1/3 of the board be members of our target demographic. Which means, in effect, that they're very different. I mean, oftentimes you say, well, you should put on your board the movers, the shakers, and the people with the money. I can't build a board that way. More than 1/3 has to be, so 4, and Steve Bonner is on there because one of the ways to qualify is you are a representative of a low-income constituency. Anyway, so there's the members of the board. Jonathan Carson is Inland Northwest Broadcasting. Anyway, other questions?
Nils, Nancy and I have been out of the housing market for a number of years, living in the same place. Definition-wise, what is your definition, number 1, of a small lot in Moscow? And number 2, what's the average price of this small lot?
There are none.
Right, there are none because the market doesn't want there to be small lots because the money isn't in it. And developers don't want to build small houses
Not small.
on small lots because there's no money in it. They want to put the max house they can because it's only the house that's the markup. The lot is the fixed cost coming in. A small lot, the smallest possible is 1,800 square feet, I believe, as a single-family residence. No, as a townhouse unit in an R4 district.
That's 30 by 60.
Mm-hmm. And the units that we have designed are 28 feet wide. Stretched a lot out a little further. We have more depth than we had street. So that, a small lot is in that 2,000 square foot range. And if you look at the tax assessor's valuations of lots, you won't find anything under 40,000, I don't think. And I imagine when these get assessed, they'll get assessed at a value like 40,000. Because if a lot exists and it's buildable, it's worth something regardless of size. Then after that baseline, then it goes up from there with view and with size and with all those other attributes.
I'd like to add a little
Yeah.
to that and just point out that Habitat for Humanity has the same problems that Nils is referring to in spades. And the idea of the collaboration between a community land trust and an agency like Habitat would reduce costs provided the land trust is flush with money and can afford to lease a lot to a builder, such as Habitat, for a long-term renewable lease with just minimal payments. And that can reduce the, well, you've seen the slides, those red areas go away real quickly when you do that. So we're waiting with bated breath until.
Uh-oh, I'm feeling the pressure. So let me comment about that. We have trust in our name, but we are not acting as a trust at present. Home money will not allow itself to be involved with trusts, so just those rules. But the other is flush with cash. Basically, you have to decide to sink capital into land in perpetuity. And then various land trusts work slightly differently, but that general idea, there's the land, then their improvements sit on the land. The buyer buys the improvements, but not the land. Land is leased for $1 a year or something. But with that lease comes a requirement about the sale price of the improvements, that they can only inflate at the consumer price index or the area median income growth or something. So the buyer of the improvements can appreciate the value of their house over time. But they can never sell the value of the land when because it's being governed by this arrangement.
And that eliminates one problem with Habitat houses. Once they are sold by the original owner, they then become market value.
Market rate.
So they've served one low-income family, but only one. Building on trust land, with leased land, you can, well, it rolls over as a low-income affordable house.
Right, you're saying what you've accomplished is this. But the next sale, we get this kind of arrangement happening and it's no longer necessarily affordable. Right, and permanent affordability is really an important challenge.
That's difficult.
And difficult. And the trust mechanism is one that can do that, can legally control it. The architectural limitations, the small house will never be as valuable as a large house, so that will help hold its value down. At present in our market, it seems that the townhouse and the daylight basement are less valued by the market, and those architectural features will hopefully continue to hold the value down. But yeah, how to do it long term. It seems like a lot of work to make one household a house for however many years they stay there.